Greetings, this is Drew Kerman, and I will be conducting the crew selection process on this live stream. Today I will be selecting not only the first astronaut that will head up into space aboard our Ascension Mach 1 rocket, but also the initial crew rotation for follow-up missions on both the Mark 1 and Mark 2. Although someday spaceflight may require specific roles, currently all one basically has to do is be willing to get strapped into a capsule and go along for the ride. All 4 of our crew have been equally trained on the Mark 1 capsule to take manual control in certain instances, but overall, the flight is largely hands-off and automated. Because of this, we have decided on a lottery selection system, and the process is being recorded for anyone to review. We'll start with a review of the lottery number submissions. On the left, I've already entered them all into a spreadsheet. To the right, I will be comparing them to what was sent in from our followers on Twitter. The response was way more than expected, and it is great to see so many people excited about the first Kerbal in space. Some people even got rather creative with their submissions. I'm not sure if I found them all, but I'll point out the ones that I did see. First, I'm going to just check and see that this one submission changed his original submission to an integer of 3 instead of pi when I refined my submission process to whole numbers only, not just any number between 0 and 1. So 4 numbers, it still qualifies. It doesn't have to be 5. It could have been anywhere between 5 numbers. We have some calculator humor here. If you turn it upside down and you type this number into a calculator, it will say hello. The mustache guy, that would be Bill. And you know what? It would be really great if he was one of the first ones to go up into space. So I'm aligning these right now with the comparative numbers so that they can be seen to be matched and accurate. This would be another calculator humor, although it's kind of spelled upright. It's pretty obvious if you want to look at it. So that completes this row. We're going to move up. And match up another set. This right here is a creative submission. This is actually the numbers of pi separated into their comparative integers. Okay, and that completes another column. We're going to move up again. This is the pi submission that was changed to 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was a scene from Spaceballs. Okay, we're going to move up. Lucky number 7. Someone's really putting in their luck on this submission there. Yes, I'm sure most people would love to see Jebediah be the first in space. Someone's being very negative down here. And then I actually did miss one submission earlier, right here. This one actually is the closest I've found to what seems to be a number sequence, but it doesn't quite seem to be like that. I mean, 13 isn't really divisible by 7, but 21, 42 are, and 69 is, well, 69 is just 69. There were some 42s. There were some 42s included. I didn't actually check to see if any of these combinations added up to 42. Maybe some did. But anyway, that concludes the submission review. All these numbers have already been double-checked, and I will now sort them smallest to largest, just to mainly rid of the empty cells I used to separate them, but also because they will be randomized again anyways. There we go. No. We're going to select those and paste them over here in this randomizer. And now we're going to have a look at our crew, which, as you can see, have been included 25 times each for a total of 100 selections for the crew. We're going to copy those and put them in this randomizer. Now, it may be apparent right now, but I actually did make a small mistake in my submission guidelines saying submit 0 to 100 when that's actually 101 numbers, and we're only going to be selecting from 100 possible cruise options. But you know what? That 0 is just going to perform its null value and do nothing but add extra numbers to be randomized. But it will not be counted for the crew selection process. So, okay, we have our crews in. We have our number of submissions verified and in. This brings us to the moment that we've all been waiting for. And to complete this process, I will randomize each number, each list. And the selection will basically be a cross-referencing between the number on the left and the comparative number on the right. So, we have number 50. That corresponds to Bob. Congratulations, Bob, getting to be the first official Kerbal in space. So we will continue selection process now with number 4. And number 4 corresponds to Bob again. Well, unfortunately, Bob, you can't go on 2 consecutive missions. So, we're going to move down to the next number, which is a 1, and that corresponds to Bill. There you go, Bill. Kerbal number 2, in space. We've already done number 1. Let's go to number 7, lucky number 7. Also Bob. Let's move on to 11. And 11 is Val. Val, the 3rd Kerbal to go into space, which, unfortunately, for all the fans, puts Jeb dead last, all the way at the bottom. He will get a turn in space, just like everybody else, and it just will not be the first in space. But let's also consider that Bob has now been exempted from being the first Kerbal to orbit Kerbin, which means Bill, Val, or Jeb could receive that honor instead. So there's still a shot for greatness in Jeb's future. He could be the first to orbit Kerbin, and there are many more frontiers left to explore out there in the solar system. So he won't be the first in space, but he can still be the first at something, as can the rest of our astronaut crew. And that concludes our selection process. We look forward to the first curved space mission, which is still planned for no earlier than July and is still depending on the results from yesterday's ascent abort test and the suborbital test flight later this month. As always, stay tuned to Twitter for all the latest updates. I'm Drew Kerman, spacing out.